we're live on Facebook. So let's let that percolate.
Okay.
Let people find us because, you know, I really didn't announce that this was going to be live on Facebook. So let's
I just got the pop-up, Darren.
Oh, okay. So
I just got the pop-up. D. Thomas Fine Miniatures is now live.
Awesome.
So yeah, I just got that.
What I'll do is in another minute or so, I will I'll start the actual broadcast on Zoom. And that will let the folks who are joining us, who have registered, they will begin to filter into the call. And we'll just wait a few minutes. But in the meantime, I will check on Facebook while we're waiting to start the broadcast and see if anybody will find us. Because, you know, we'll begin to filter into the call.
Could you hear yourself?
And we'll just wait a few minutes. But in the meantime, I will check on Facebook. Is that mine?
That's me. No, I'm sorry. That's me. Sorry.
That would be awesome.
I just muted it. Right.
Thank you. Let's see if anybody has joined us on Facebook. Yeah. So we do have one person on Facebook. Yay! It's you, Donald. That's awesome. But do you see Dagmar?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When she speaks.
Oh, okay. I wonder. Oh, okay. Right. All right, good. Well, so we're live on Facebook. Just want to say hello to the folks who are out there on Facebook, who have just joined us. If you are joining us on Facebook, give us a shout out in the comments section so we can see who's on the line.
And where they're coming from and where they're calling from.
What's that?
And where they're calling from.
Yeah. No, because I do see that 7 people have joined, but that's on Facebook. We'll wait another few minutes and then we will click go on Zoom. But for the people who are joining us on Facebook, we will be monitoring the comments section. So if you have any questions during the Zoominar, please do let us know. Hello, Lee from Nashville, Tennessee. And Patrick. Hey, Patrick. Oh, PowerPoint is blocking the image. What does that mean? Carla, what do you mean? Can you not see? I don't know. Lee in Nashville, are you seeing the, Donald, what are you seeing? Are you seeing the presentation on okay?
I see both on Facebook. So it may be your screen. It may be Carla's screen.
Right, right.
She may have to expand her view.
Carla, check your screen and expand your view. Maybe that's what it is. So Lee, you can see the presentation as well as me? Okay, I think they're good. So what I'll do is we'll wait another minute and they will begin. Was that a whisper? Oh, yay, hi Lee. She can see us. Who else has just joined us on Facebook? Let us know where you are joining us from. So Carla's saying I'm in a tiny video on the page and the title is covering most. Don't know what that means. Right. Yeah. Carla, what you could do is try to register and get on the Zoom call because that might work. If you register right now and get on the Zoom, that might work. But in the meantime, welcome to those who are joining us on Facebook. I'm so glad we were able to get this Facebook going because the last call we were not able to go live on Facebook. So I'm excited about that. Just so you guys know, if you do miss any of these Zoominars, I publish them on my YouTube channel, usually a day or so after we get done with the presentation. So you can always catch it on replay and see what you've missed. So if you ever feel like you're missing something, definitely you could check my YouTube channel. So we're gonna go to broadcast to our friends on Zoom. So we are now broadcasting live to our Zoom friends. So again, thank you for the Facebook folks who are joining us. And welcome to our participants who are all getting on right now. If you wouldn't mind using the chat box to tell us where you are joining from, because that would be kind of cool. Maybe the state and the country would be good. So great that you're all joining. I see a whole bunch of folks coming. So if you are just joining us and you've never used Zoom before, there is a chat box in your menu that you just need to pull down and type in your questions or comments or feedback and use that as your place to communicate. So definitely throughout this Zoom call, let us know what you're thinking, what your questions are. If you're just joining us, let us know where you're Zooming from. We've got Philly, we've got Canada. Beverly, where are you calling from? San Diego, yay. All right, so it's just about 7 o'clock. Again, welcome, folks. So glad you were able to join us for our Meet the Miniaturist show. This is a great way to connect miniaturists with enthusiasts from all over the world, and I'm just so excited. Dagmar Turnidge is here with us from Melbourne, Australia, who's a fabulous miniaturist. I discovered her a few years ago when I was doing the Squint Box, and we worked together on that. And I just fell in love with her work. I fell in love with her design aesthetic, her miniatures, her thought process around collecting miniatures. And I was like, we need to get her out there, and we need her to meet other folks, and they need to meet her. So thank you, Dagmar, for joining us. Just so everybody knows also, she's also known as Mini Property Developer on Instagram. She has a very nice growing following of folks that check in with her all the time to see what she's up to. And so definitely go and follow her on Instagram. And I want to say welcome. Thank you, Dagmar, for joining today. Yay!
Thank you, Darren. You always push me beyond my limits, Darren, and here I am again.
I'm just so glad you're here. So I can't wait to hear everything about you, and I can't wait for other people to hear everything about you. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you've been doing so far before miniatures.
Okay, well, I'll keep it a dot point summary, I think. I retired 6 years ago, and I originally was born in Germany, and we migrated to Australia in 1958, and that's relevant because that is a reason for my interest in German mid-century modern miniatures. However, when I did retire from being a teacher and an education consultant and a university lecturer, which probably indicates to you that even if I wanted to do dolls' houses, there wasn't that much time in my life to do them. I unfortunately contracted or was diagnosed with breast cancer fairly quickly after that. And I went through 6 months of chemo and radiotherapy. And fairly shortly after that, my younger daughter got married. And at the wedding, a guest, not somebody I really knew, asked me the question I think lots of people who are cancer survivors get asked: is there still something you want to do? Right. The implication being I might be dead tomorrow. Well, 6 years on, here I still am. And I actually said to her, no, look, I've had a very fortunate life and I'm hoping to continue that. But when I got home, I thought, you know, there's always been a niggle in my brain. I've always wanted a doll's house. And when I was a very little girl, I'd go to the greengrocers, and that's when vegetables were in wooden crates. And I'd bring them home, stack them one on top of the other, and I'd wallpaper them. And I don't even know where I got scraps of wallpaper from. And in the early 60s, my grandparents in Germany sent my sister and I a bedroom set and a lounge room set. So then I had furniture to put in there. So that was always in my head. And my long-suffering husband, I had a chat with and said, this is a very expensive hobby, Greg, but I'd really like to do it. And I'll just do one. I may have lied. I really intended to just do one, but it hasn't stopped. And I will freely admit that I'm a total addict. I came out to my friends and family about a year after I started, and they still love me. And
So
I'm also, the other thing I'll say, because you'll see in the way Darren's done the structuring, I love all design. I'm a bit of a tart when it comes to design. I'm not very faithful to just one style. And dolls' houses and miniatures let me explore everything I love, which is pretty much everything.
right, but there is definitely a focus on mid-century modern from your collection, and you have an extensive collection of mid-century modern. These are beautiful pieces, and you find them mostly in Germany. Is that right?
Yes, the only pieces I haven't found in Germany are I've found a couple on Etsy, one in Hungary, I think, and one in America. And I was fortunate enough to find one in the south of France in one of those brocantes, one set. Right. And for a long time, that's all I could find. And then I don't know why, but one day I thought, I think I'll look on German eBay. And I have enough German, rudimentary German. And with Google Translate, I started buying on eBay Germany.
So what do we know about these specific miniatures? Are they manufactured pieces? Are some of them handmade? Like, what about them do we know? What are they made of?
They're made to a very high quality standard. They are manufactured, although when you have a look at some of the legs and pieces, I can't tell you for sure, but there's been more than a machine involved. They all stem from a tradition in the Erzgebirge Mountains in Germany of woodwork. And the mid-century modern woodwork doll's house furniture comes about through a tradition of making doll's house furniture since the 19th century. However, I've done some research, and what this mid-century modern represents is an attempt to give people in their homes the latest styles, when actually post-war Germany, both East and West, people couldn't afford to just change their furniture. But right. The aesthetic changed so dramatically that you could buy, in those days, it would be your daughter, the furniture. It also has another, it was a resurgence after the Second World War and after the partition of Germany, because the East Germans wanted Western money. So they encouraged the now East German toy manufacturers to produce this in order to sell into the West and bring Western money in. So that's the background of it. The quality is beyond anything other than what the best miniaturists make today. And yet this was mass produced and commercial.
Right. Well, I only say manufactured because there's more than one piece made at any time.
Oh, so absolutely. Yeah,
100 of one piece. It's only they can be handmade, but they're still manufactured in the sense that there's more than one piece made.
I guess I would say mass produced. Yes, they are mass produced.
It's just people get this idea that mass produced or manufactured means not good quality. These are all handmade. They're just, many are made at one time. And
even from that picture, you can see different woods are used,
right.
And different inlays. Some of them have real glass doors.
Do we know what materials they are?
Individual wood, I can't tell you. No, this piece is by a firm called Linus Dannart.
Okay.
And they're slightly bigger than a 1 to 12. The scale wasn't anything that was adhered to in a rigid way, right. But the craftsmanship of this particular company is extraordinary. You can see just the sheer quality even in that photo of what they make. I guess my problem is I hit a language barrier when I try to do research further than I have. And there is a fantastic blogger whose name is Astrid, who's been very helpful to me in her response to my questions. And I've learned a lot just looking at her blog and her Flickr.
What questions do you ask about these pieces that you collect?
Often it's a case of trying to identify them. You get to know the style of a maker, but they don't brand them. It's really interesting. You'd normally expect to turn it over and find a name, but for whatever reason, that wasn't the case. So you have to get your eye attuned to the way something's made. In the case of this Linus Dannart, see those little round handles with the blue in them?
Yeah.
On the cupboards. That's a pretty good giveaway of whose that is, because nobody else does that shape handle filled with the color of the set that they're matching it to.
but
So
wait,
you
we're
get used
talking
to it.
about the replication of the miniature from the full size. You're talking about the full, you want to identify the full size maker.
No. You can't identify the miniature maker. They don't stamp them in any way.
Okay, right.
It's very rare, very rare. So you get to know styles. That's all you
Sure.
can really do, and get in touch with experts. That's also Linus Dannert.
Right.
And you can see those, not as well, but you can see those little knobs pop up again
Yeah.
on the dressing table and on the wardrobe. But
Right.
you know, two different wood inlays in each piece and rounded edging. That's high craft. That's
Absolutely.
extraordinary finish.
And when you're looking and searching for these pieces, do you often find a full set together? Like, did you get this whole bedroom set together, or did you have to?
That whole bedroom set isn't quite complete. I've actually sold that because I found the complete set.
Oh,
There's a chair missing and a little stool, and the wardrobe doors weren't the original paneling. So what I've done is sold that one, and I'm waiting with the COVID stalling of postage for the new set to arrive. If I see a full set, it will cost me even more money, but I will buy it if it's special.
right.
But I managed to put a lot of sets together. I suppose I should also mention from my background, I'm a researcher and a hunter at heart. My career has meant I need to know how to research.
Right.
And part of my passion for mid-century modern German doll's house furniture is the research isn't easy, but it's very rewarding when you find something.
Yeah.
So I will hunt and hunt for a chair until
Yeah.
I find, I'll buy a set that I don't really, or an item, a set of items that I don't really want because there's one chair in there that I need to finish a set.
But that's
Are
a
you
true
getting
collector. That's a true collector. You're out and
Yeah.
you need to get it, and you're gonna
Yeah.
not gonna stop until you find it. So
and
yeah.
yeah, go
So
on.
even a TV, even a television set from what?
Yes,
would-
this is Fritz Altman furniture, and he is the maker that my grandparents sent me. This furniture is later furniture, and the television sets changed too. Give me 1 minute and I'll grab one.
Yeah.
This is a much earlier version, and those of you who are my age will remember the large television with the radio, and sometimes you also had the record player in there.
Yes.
Whereas you can see in the picture, that's starting to look more like a modern television.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I'm curious about the weight.
Um,
What's your sense? Is it a substantial weight? Is it lighter than you would think?
it's
So important to me.
that room set you're looking at on the screen. I would estimate that would probably be 500 grams all up, or possibly just over 500 grams all up. So look, this is it's easy for me to hold. There's no, I'm just going to look, there's nothing. There's one, I'll show you this one, it's slightly heavier.
Yeah. You know, there's a term called scale weight. And
Yeah, this is 1950s, 53, 54.
that's awesome.
So it's a little more, a different style too, but it's a little heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could tell it's a little overscaled for, you know,
Yeah.
over 1/12.
You can't
not
rely on scale. Yeah. I think they see a lot of people, they actually didn't put these in dolls' houses. They put them in like extended room boxes, three, like back, two side walls, and then other walls. And a lot of the furniture manufacturers made to suit those boxes, room boxes anyway. So they're not trying to put them in houses or anything like we are now.
Right.
That's why I've got the IKEA boxes.
Let me remind folks that the chat box is open. If you guys have any questions, we'll be checking back to answer any as we go along. Let's talk about your dollhouse and ROOMBOX collection, because not only do you collect these beautiful, beautiful mid-century modern pieces, you have a pretty extensive collection of dollhouses and Lundbys specifically.
Yeah, these are my remaining Lundbys. I've sold all the rest. As all collectors will know, you need to move things on, you need to make space, you need to improve your budget.
Right.
Lundbys are I'm sure a lot of people who are listening know this. They're still manufacturing. They're a Swedish brand designed for children.
Right.
And the beautiful thing about them is they're inbuilt, they're electrified. They have a very safe inbuilt system, and you can plug their lights straight in. The reason that there's two reasons why I did Lundby's. I was running out of room for my very large dolls' houses. And there's, as you can see, there's some quite nice shapes. They're very cheap to pick up locally, 40 Australian dollars, which is probably sort of around the 30 or so US. They've often been played with, which gives me the excuse to rip them apart and restyle them, and that's what I've done.
Right.
They also, that again, I have no shares in IKEA. I wish I did, but that's a Billy bookcase from IKEA, and you can see how beautifully they fit in. So that was a pragmatic decision, as I realized that my hobby was no longer a hobby, but a lifestyle choice.
So the pieces from Germany don't fit in these Lundbys. So you have
no, they're very much
assortment.
They're 1 to 6. Interestingly, you could one of the things I've learned is you can trick the eye. So sometimes this is all Lundby except the little kitchen set, which is a set of Chinese chairs that I bought, and I made the rattan looking covers. But with Lundby, you need to be buying 1 to 16 or 1 to 18 furniture to fit.
It's not 112. Okay.
No, and that's why it suited me, because, as I said, I was running out of space. But they're the first houses I've sacrificed, and those 3 may still be on the chopping block when I can part with them.
So you it would be a modern dollhouse, right?
This is the Doll's House Emporium Malibu house.
Is that 112 or what? That's also
this is 1 to 12. This is a true 1 to 12. It comes as a kit. It's the second house that I did.
Right.
And when I say I did, when the 2 boxes arrived with the thousands of small pieces, without my husband's help to actually put it together, to do the dry fit, those of you who do kits will know you have to really build it before you glue it, and then you glue it.
Right.
I'd have to say I could still be working on it.
Yeah, I'll bet.
This is what I really wanted. When I chose to do dolls' houses, that first one, I did buy a Victorian ready-made style house on eBay. But here in Melbourne, we have a lot of old houses, and people decorate them in a modern style or renovate them. And I thought, well, just because the outside is traditional doesn't mean I can't go modern. But when I found this one, I thought that's my dream. And
question though, do you know the manufacturer of this kit?
Doll's House Emporium.
Oh, this is Dollhouse Emporium out of the UK.
Yep. I believe I read on either Instagram or Facebook that they've discontinued this and it's on special at the moment.
I didn't know.
So what it is, 2 kits. That top is a little see the sunroof?
Yes.
That's a little extra piece you buy.
Okay.
But look,
you're happy with the kit? Is it substantial? Is it made well?
Beautifully made, great instructions. But it comes in raw wood, so you have to paint it. And you don't need a carpentry expert or anything. You just need patience.
Right.
But it was beautifully made, no complaints. And you can see it's an absolutely splendid looking thing.
It is. And is it hardwood or is it MDF? Do you know?
It's
plywood.
It's hardwood. In the main, hardwood. Yeah.
And this is another kit.
No, this is a Brincadata. It is a kit. I've actually sold this. I also started doing some research on I think they were 2 New York architects who set up the Brincadata Doll's House to be ecologically sound. And there were 3 of them, and I managed to source all 3. I still have 2. This little one is a very simple kit, and I initially actually just played around with it. I had it set up as an art gallery at one stage, but again, for the sake of getting a bit of extra cash and space, I have sold it. But
this is also overscaled. The Brincas are overscaled.
The Brincas you can do Lundby furniture in quite successfully.
Okay.
So the Brincas are 116 or 118. So if you have a look in the bathroom, with the lights on, that's Lundby furniture, the sink and the toilet.
Right. That's
And the
awesome.
kitchen is also Lundby. And the other pieces I've either made out of bits and bobs, or there are the two brown chairs on the bottom floor are Brincadata furniture,
Right.
which if anyone's interested, you can still find online. And my good friend James from Victorian DOLLHOUSE in Canberra does still have some sets, to my knowledge, that he sells. He has a website.
Are they made of plastic? What are they made of?
No, they're wood, but they're all, my understanding is the paints and everything in them was sourced to be environmentally friendly.
Wow. That's definitely before its time, because these have been around for, I would say, more than 15 years, no?
Yeah, and they discontinued them a long time ago, I think, so you have to hunt for them.
I thought that your designer was Lena Dunham's mother. Did you hear that?
No, I haven't heard that. Or anything I found was it was two architects, but that's not to say it isn't.
I don't know. All right, let's talk about this extraordinary wall of room boxes, which, by the way, is only one part of the wall. Is this what's behind you right now?
Yes, that's what I'm sitting in front
Okay, so
of.
this is just one wall. There's another wall filled with room boxes.
In an L shape. You can just see it where the brown corner is in the screen. It turns the corner, and there's about another 12 or so there.
So these room boxes pretty much house the collection of German pieces, right? Or is it a mix?
That's all they have, yes.
And did you design the boxes? Like they're all?
No, IKEA designed them for me. I found on oh gosh, I probably just was Googling around, and I found people using this how can I possibly have forgotten the name? Just bear with me.
No, but do you buy it as a shelving unit?
Let me show you.
Okay.
So it's a Leckman.
What's that?
You buy it, a Leckman.
Okay, so that's the name.
And it takes approximately 3 minutes to build. They click together. And the beauty of them, as you can see, is when you're dealing with things that are not standard scale all the time, it gives you enough room to position furniture. Because even if it's almost 1:12, some pieces are not really 1:12, and that Lena Stannard furniture is slightly over that. And also the white shelves, IKEA, which means that they fit into that as they do into the Billy bookcases. So it was a storage solution as well as a design solution. The earlier ones, which they've now discontinued, had a back wall. I don't think I can show you without sort of, wandering around the room. Right. Their back wall looked like a window, like a frosted glass window. And they were superb because you had an inbuilt modern frosted glass window look. But now they've gone to solid white plastic at the back. So I wallpaper.
And so are you embed lighting in here and wires? Where are they?
I have some battery operated lights in there. Okay. Some shades I've made myself, and some rattan ones I think is sort of suitable for the era, but I'm now finding the original German lights, and I'm buying those when I can. They can be plugged into a little battery pack, but it doesn't exist in Australia, and I haven't succeeded in being able to get one. So I can't light them up, but they're there to light up.
Well, it's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about your design philosophy. So not only are you an extensive collector of these awesome miniatures, but you put it all together just so beautifully. So let's talk a little bit about your design philosophy.
Well, very quickly, I'm a frustrated interior designer. I was 16 when I went to my careers counselor at school and said, this is what I'd like to be. And she said, well, dear, if you find out how to do that, come back and tell me. So my choices then remained nurse, teacher, secretary.
Right.
I got a scholarship to uni, and it was a teaching scholarship. So that was the end of my interior design hopes. At 16, you don't have the courage to go out there and just do it yourself. Well, certainly not when I was 16. I'm sure there would be now. Right. So I've been I've been the bane of my husband's life. He used to travel a lot for work, and he'd come home at night and not switch the light on and trip over a lounge suite that wasn't there when he left the house a few weeks ago. I'm constantly, as I said, I'm a flibbity gibbet, if you know that old fashioned word, a tart, if you like, a harlot, if you like. If I see it, another design that I absolutely love, I want that as well as the ones I've already loved.
Right.
And this is one reason why miniatures allow me to pursue so many different things. I love good design. I love texture. I love layering things. And it gives me great pleasure. And I visit these every morning. I do the maintenance as things fall off walls and things as they do. I sometimes rearrange.
When you're starting, let's say a new box, and you've, let's say, acquired a whole bunch of new miniatures, where's your head at? Where do you start? I mean, look at the beautiful.
The furniture in this case is a good one to show you. This furniture is Rilke, and I love them. It's quite a modern aesthetic. So I then go on to usually Etsy, and I look for scrapbooking papers, digital files that I can then download, and I adjust the size and fit them together. And you can see in that one, not always precisely. May I just say I am not a perfectionist, and precision is not my middle name. I've always said I'm a broad brush strokes person. You have to appreciate the whole picture. So yeah, that one told me that, you know, it needed a fairly funky kind of modern look about it. The floors, for instance, are a marble like, I don't know if you have it, you probably do. It's called Contact in Australia. It's a roll. I use that for stone look and all sorts of things.
Right.
And then I start to just have a look at what I've got. I'm trying very hard to use as many real pieces from the time as I can.
Right.
So the things there that aren't the little cheese and wine, you'll see cheese and wine popping up a lot in my houses. I wonder why. But the tea set, the toffee set up the top is original, and so is the flower. And
I'm really struck by the sconces. I guess there's a pair, or the on the
where are
side wall. And is that fabric? Is that paper? What is that? And or is that a piece that you bought?
Where am I?
The little on the to the right. It's hanging on the wall. It looks like a sconce or a wall.
Oh, sorry, your picture is blocking that. They're little lights. They came with the set, little wall lamp. They're original. That ceiling light and the little sconce sort of lights are original of the era.
They're awesome.
They're lovely. I've also, you said, what's my design philosophy? Well, one of them is it's all in the detail. It really built layering the story. In my head, I know who lives in these places. I've always designed. I won't have dolls. I do have some little animals like dogs in my houses because I know who lives here, and it's probably actually me. So I'm not having any dolls invading the space.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, a lot of miniatures don't have people in their scenes or their miniatures because it takes away from any sense of realism. But I think animals, you can get away with putting animals in your scenes because for some reason there's that same connection with their eyes. Does it make sense?
Yeah, and I've also had a lot of fun. I buy the few animals I bought, about 3 of them I buy from, you know, the that felting technique where you
yes,
hit the pin, so they actually have a lovely texture as well.
Right.
And if you look on my earlier Instagram posts, my dogs can be very naughty and they get up to all sorts of mischief. So I sometimes tell a story with them.
Right. And that's what's fun about miniatures. You get to tell these stories. I love this piece, and I love this chess set. Is that also miniature?
That's by Bodo Henning. Bodo Henning is one of that company still exists. They still do doll's house furniture, not like this, but yeah, he's a prolific designer, and that was for a child's doll's house. All those pieces are glued on, which makes it more easy to play with if you're a child.
What are they made of? Do you know?
Plastic, and the board is wood. Hang on. Let me see. It might have moved room boxes if I can lay my eyes on it. Oh yes, here we go.
So we do have a question. Oh wait. Oh, okay. I see. Yep. Right.
Yep.
They want to know, somebody wants to know if you dust and clean all the boxes and the furniture.
I reluctantly have to, yes,
You do.
but I don't do it very often. I do it when the embarrassment starts. If somebody says, "Could I come and look at your dolls' houses?" I'm embarrassed enough. Yeah, it's a huge job. It's not my favorite job, but the nice thing is if you take everything out step by step, you re-engage.
That's right. You get to
But
hold.
yeah, it's a task. It's a huge task. And how about spring clean? Definitely, and sometimes maybe winter clean. How about that as an answer?
Fair. That's fair. All right, let's
Okay.
go to this awesome creative space that you work out of, which is some of it's behind you, and some of it is not seen, but it's awesome. And let's talk about the creative process. Tell us about this piece.
There's a French company called Roche-Beaubois, does extraordinary modern furniture, and it will never ever be in my own house. For a start, I don't have the size of rooms. Secondly, I don't have the money, and thirdly, I would never be able to get off that sofa at my age, so it would be completely impractical. However, I decided this is in a house that I decided to relax a bit with. Often I discipline myself. When I do a house, I force myself to decorate in a style. This is my bohemian house. This reflects my own eclectic. So what this is my reproduction of Roche-Beaubois, and it starts with a kitchen sponge.
Awesome.
And then I go to the local Spotlight store, which sells fabrics and things, and I find patchwork squares that are as close to scale. And I glue the fabric onto the kitchen sponges, and then I with a needle punch into it. Can you see that?
See it. Are they hexagons? What were those?
That's just a straight row of tacking around it to make it look upholstered. And that's all I've done on both. And then I make the smaller pieces, all still out of sponges, and I can style that however I want, just as the real one. So that's my homage to Roche-Beaubois.
Is it hard to find the specific patterns that you like, or
no? If you go to we don't have small. They used to be called haberdashery stores. Show how old I am. We don't have small shops like that much, but patchwork quilting is a huge hobby in Australia. So if you go to the bigger ones that sell you the sewing machine, the fabrics, the cottons, the buttons, the craft items, they sell little squares about that big in packages. And because it's possible, they're not going into, like, they're not dress fabric. You can see some of the patterns are quite small and they work quite well to scale. So over the years, I've just I go into a lot of shops even if I don't need anything there, and that's one of them. I go and have a look at that. I spend a lot of time in charity stores.
Right. Oh, you can find great stuff in those.
These are all beads from charity stores that I've turned into little Chinese vessels. So they've been necklaces or something.
Wait, for some people who might not know what a charity store is, I don't know. What do we call them?
We call them op shops. You might call them opportunity stores, thrift stores.
Thrift stores. Thank you. Yes. And so beads, literally.
Yeah, they were just off bracelets and things, and I've broken them up and turned them into Chinese ginger jars and things.
Awesome. So I'm showing them a little video of your workspace, which I love. It's just it's filled with creativity. It's filled with charm. It's just an amazing space to be working out of. I love it.
Is that a nice way to say mess?
No, it's not a mess at all. It's actually really, really organized and clean.
Well, as you can see, it's changed. This is pre-mid-century modern.
Right.
I have, I've changed things around. I have I'm actually sitting at a little glass computer table that's on casters, on rollers, and that's my workbench, but I can move it around. And yeah, the rest of it's just bits of furniture that I found. That was my desk in my study. That's all that's left of my study.
So do you have a favorite tool you can't live without?
I make do with things. I do like a Dremel, but mostly the Dremel, I bought some little Chinese drill bits, and when I was electrifying my houses, that was perfect for drilling the holes.
Yeah.
I also have that, you saw that small hand electric drill screwdriver.
Yeah.
But other than that, I've ruined dozens of pairs of scissors and anything to hand. I like good tweezers. I've got a few sets of tweezers.
Yeah.
But no, I'm because I do everything on the spur of the moment. I'll get out of bed in my pajamas because I've had an idea during the night and I'll start working on something. I just grab whatever I can find.
Do you have a favorite miniaturist? Or miniaturist?
This was a question I was dreading. I have many, and some of you on Instagram will know that because you've been so helpful and encouraging to me. But there is one lady called Elizabeth who runs Elf Miniatures, who, when I first started this, I reached out to it. We were going to England on a trip, and I contacted her and said, I love your pieces, but is there anywhere I could actually go to a shop and see doll's house furniture in the modern style or any style? And she said, well, just like here in Australia, and I know most people are selling online, the shops are not that easy to get. So she invited me to her house in Basingstoke, which was like Aladdin's cave. She was so kind. She showed me her tiny little workroom. Her garage had been converted into her storage section. And like me, she'd started doing modern dolls' houses because there wasn't anything around. And she had a daughter who she wanted to make a doll's house for. So she made a doll's house, but she made modern furniture. And her workmanship is superb. And she produces modern miniatures of this nature.
Yeah.
I have 2 kitchens from her. She's now specializing in kitchens and bathrooms.
I'm going to shut down the presentation just so that people can see, because they're seeing that in a small box. So show them again if you can.
Okay, how's that?
Oh, much better. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's an elf miniature.
That's an elf miniature. She sells mostly online. She has some Instagram presence, more on Facebook. And so I'm calling her my favorite because she's the first face-to-face miniaturist I met, and she actually let me see and hold doll's house furniture before I bought it online or anywhere else. So I could name many, many others on Instagram, but you know, if I start doing that, there'll be someone I miss, and I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight.
Makes sense. We did get another question about, do you have a bucket list project? Is there something that you're going to make, you want to make?
No, but I have a bucket list of German furniture and maker. I'm actually selling some of my mid-century modern furniture from the early days of collecting. I now want to specialize particularly in a company called EMS. Let me grab one piece.
Yeah. EMS. Let's see if we have any other questions. Oh, this is another good question. Oh, I love that.
So absolutely super, super modern.
That's beautiful.
Almost as rare as hen's teeth, but not quite. So the hunt is fantastic. And I'm starting to slowly find those pieces. So my bucket list exists with finding certain room sets or building room sets.
Have you gone and traveled to Germany to get pieces? That was another question that came through.
No, this passion all sort of started around the same time as when my younger daughter, her husband, and my 2 grandchildren moved home from Malaysia. So nothing actually gets me out of the country because I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old grandchild, and I'm not missing out on a second of that time. COVID has been helpful in one sense that I'm no longer being pressured about when are you going overseas next. I've got another year up my sleeve, I think, to just be a grandma.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like to hear that. So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing, what else you're doing. I mean, I know you're collecting, but you're also doing other art. So
yes,
you're working.
Hang on, I'm grabbing for something. I did art in school until my final year at school, and I've always painted and done things. So I've sourced in America these little fine canvases. They are a real canvas.
Yep.
And they're to scale, and they're different textures. Right. So I've done little paintings, as you know, and I've turned them into prints that I've shut down my Etsy store, but I'm happy to sell on Instagram. But recently, and most of my work is accidental. Recently, I love Daiso, the Japanese store. I find all sorts of things in Daiso. And in Daiso, I bought a pad of little cork shapes,
Okay.
adhesive.
Yep.
I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but what I did with them, I discovered a paint called Dimensions. And I don't know if you can see that, but that's actually what a
Texture.
dimension. So I started exploring that. And then I thought, hang on a minute, I'm going to make my own cork panels. And now I'm doing very fine paintings on, can you see that? On the cork
Yes.
panels.
Beautiful.
And I only paint when the mood strikes me, and
Yep.
then I'm usually gone for hours. But I want to continue that. The rest of it, who would know? I make furniture,
Right. Oh, yep.
things like that. My
Yeah.
brother-in-law has a huge garage full of the most wonderful wood pieces. He gives me offcuts, and things like that.
Yeah. I love it.
But
I love it.
because I don't want them in my mid-century modern collection.
But
Yeah,
some of
I
those
saw.
aren't in those boxes, those room boxes, right?
No, not now.
At all?
No, over time I've managed. That's just for display.
That is those are your
They are mid-century modern. The television is 1960s,
right.
and the chair is 50s. The reason I use that picture is because Germany has banned all parcel post to Australia because of COVID.
Right.
So I'm waiting for some sets I bought back in March. They've slowly started to arrive.
Right.
And Germany is now, so long as you pay a premium extra price, they're now sending parcels, which of course I've done because I've been waiting now for months and months to fill those boxes. So I just put that in for the sake of the Instagram picture, show you scale. So yeah, next is getting my new sets of furniture.
Yep.
Continuing to paint. I'm still, these little crocheted ottomans.
Right.
Are fun to do. I just made them up, and people have bought those on Etsy, and they're the sort of thing. Contact me.
There were a couple of boxes that I wanted to get into this presentation but didn't make it. So I would encourage folks to go check out Dagmar's Instagram account, which is Mini Property Developer, where you could see all of the work, all of the fabulous interior design work that she has done and continues to do. Let's take one more question before we wrap it up, which is, oh, that's very nice. Someone said it's a treat to see your stunning furniture. Someone asked about the Brincadata house again. Is there a website to find that?
No, I start with Dr. Google, Mr. Google. I just Google Brincadata.
Right.
But if it would be worth looking at victoriandollshouses.com.au, all one word, Victorian Dolls Houses. That's okay. James. James had the final one I was looking for. He actually had the house, but he has some of the furniture sets still. And sometimes he may be able to help you where other people,
right,
have it.
One more question. Yeah. How many hours a day do you spend in your workshop?
It's changed a lot. In the beginning, probably I lost myself in there almost all day long. I'd cook meals. That was about it. And as I mentioned to you before, my dear 94-year-old friend who passed away last year said, this is therapy to help you recover from the cancer. And she was right. Oh, I also didn't mention my husband is only alive because my older daughter was living with us temporarily. He had a heart attack coming back from jogging, and she brought him back to life. So that all happened in the space of 6 months. So I needed a release. Now it's, I come in and out as the mood strikes me. I probably spend at least an hour a day.
Right.
And if once the furniture arrives, I might be in here for a few hours or more. But I'm also now doing what a lot of grandparents do and minding my grandchildren 2 days a week so my daughter can work. And
right.
Life has a different pace. And maybe my need isn't the same as it was when I first started. But I'm certainly in there every day.
Yeah. Well, your collection is beautiful, and I love all the energy and attention that you spend on it, and it just shows that it's such a beautiful, well-curated, assortment of miniatures. And it's been great hearing about your collection and how you acquire these beautiful treasures and just how you've brought this into your life. So I just want to thank you for spending this time with us, and we loved
Yeah.
hearing your story and hearing about your passion for these things. You could tell that these really do bring joy to your life.
Yeah, well, thank you. I thank you all for joining, first of all. And Darren, as I said twice now, you've pushed me to understand much more about me as a miniaturist and my collection. I have a tendency to downplay most things I do. I'm quite comfortable with that. And you just pushed me to another level, and I really appreciate your support and your belief in me. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing everything with us. And just a note to you folks, take a screenshot of this page to follow D. Thomas Fine Miniatures. Follow Dagmar on Mini Property Developer on Instagram. You can catch this replay on my website or on YouTube. Just awesome spending this time with you. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day because it's morning your time in Melbourne, right?
Yes.
And we'll say goodnight to the folks here in the US. And thank you all for joining us today. And
Thank
we'll
you
say
very
bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye.